Thank you for joining the next chapter with me, Denise Young, and our guest today is Katrina Bernardino from a mortgage broker from Orbis. Hi, Katrina. Thanks for coming on.
For having me, Denise.
Good. Katrina, buyers are hearing words like pre-qualification, pre-approval, and final approval. Why do you think so many people are confusing them?
So, because they're all very similar, but they have very different meanings. So when you hear the word pre-qualification, chances are you've had a verbal conversation, you fired off some numbers saying you make X amount of dollars, you have this much for a down payment, and a banker or broker might say, okay, you're going to qualify for this. No documents have been pulled, nothing has been verified, no application. You're really just, it's a green light, but it's not a green light to shop.
Right.
The pre-approval stage, we have actually filled out an application, we've verified documents, we've pulled credit, we've verified your employment, your down payment sources, and with some lenders, you even get a rate hold, so they will keep that rate for you for the next 120 days.
Yeah.
And again, it gives you that confidence to shop, knowing that your numbers have been looked at, your credit has been pulled, and although you've been pre-approved, the property yet has not been pre-approved. So you can go into this knowing that, it's an exciting time for you, but that final approval doesn't happen until you've actually found a property. You now have a live deal, you have an accepted offer, and now the lender looks at the whole picture and looks at the property as well, and then issues a commitment letter. And from there, we satisfy the conditions, and you bought a house.
You bought a house, yeah. When the lender is actually verifying you at the pre-approval stage, what are they looking at?
So they're looking at your stability, right? They want to make sure that your employment is steady, that you're paying bills, you have enough income to support this purchase, and you're ready for it.
Yeah. Why isn't I was told I could afford this amount always enough when it comes to time to writing an offer?
Well, I get that often, is I was told I could afford this. My first question is always, has anything been verified? So have we looked at documents? Has anyone looked at any documents? Has anyone looked at your credit? And so forth, right? So again, that's when that pre-qualification kind of comes into play, where someone has said, oh, you can go for this, but nothing's been verified.
Right.
Having simple conversations and shooting some numbers off. And at that point, getting them excited, maybe, I guess is the right word for a pre-qual. It's never going to hold any value, though, in going into an offer or anything. So you have no documents, right? How do you feel, Denise, if somebody came to you saying, I'm pre-qualified versus I'm pre-approved?
Yes, I know.
Well, do you have this pre-approval letter, or what does this look like, right?
Yeah. And my clients think it's that I don't want to waste my time going to show houses that they can't afford. I don't. I mean, that is true. But also, it's not just about that. It's about not wasting the buyer's emotions, falling in love with something that they can't afford. Also, we're wasting the seller's time, because let's be honest, the seller is going to have a lot of people wanting to come to see their house, and they have to clean up, take their dogs out, take their kids out, all these things in order to accommodate a showing. So let's make sure they've hired a realtor to make sure that they're getting qualified. We call them qualified buyers, but a pre-qualification isn't enough.
Right, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. We want to see those documents. We want to see the job letters. We want to, see your down payment, right? That it's there. A lot of people say, I make X amount of dollars, and then you get income documents, and it shows a different story. So,
and it also helps in negotiating, right? Like, so say we do fall in love with the house and want to write an offer, and if we get to the point of writing an offer, and there's often in our market right now, there's multiple offers in almost everything. And the first word as a listing agent that should be, or the first question that should be asked is, where's the pre-approval letter that goes with this offer, so that I can, have the comfort from my seller that we're accepting an offer that actually has been verified, right? Like,
well, you've done your homework, right? You're now prepared to go in and make this offer.
Yeah.
Sometimes every case is a little bit different, and you're going in with every offer, and you're punching in the numbers again, and you're checking, and you're double checking, and the ratios are all good, and now this is your number, and go in tonight, and good luck, right?
Yeah. My next question actually was, from your experience, what's the emotional cost for buyers who don't have clarity before they fall in love with a home?
Oh, it's heartbreak 101.
Right.
The emotional piece, it's very real. You have a first-time home buyer who's now finally acknowledged, hey, I want to do this. This is a big step in your life, and it's the most important thing you can do is be prepared, know your numbers, know what to expect, know the process, have someone working with you alongside you that can, answer questions for you and educate you appropriately for your situation, because every situation is different, right?
Yeah.
There's no two people the same. You can have two families, both first-time home buyers, both employed, whatever, and the situation is going to be completely different, right? So, I think knowing your value and the limit that you can go is very, very important going in, knowing that you're now not going to go look at a home out of your budget, because then it's not a good. Why put yourself into that situation where you
and there's a whole nother aspect to that as well, because of multiple offers being so prominent. Like, if you're approved for 350, you probably need to be looking at houses under 300, right? Like, so that you have room to go up to 350. But that's not the mortgage broker's issue.
That's why we tell you kind of what the max is, and now that's up to you. That's skills with negotiating, right? To get the best deal for your clients, and it's a team effort, though, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all about chatting about strategy and how to not fall in love with the wrong houses. If you're falling in love with houses that you can't afford, it's so hard to look at the ones you can. Like,
right.
You're going to compare everything to the one that got away, even though that one that got away wasn't actually something that was in your price range. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes I also see buyers that get pre-approved, and then they think, oh, winner, chicken dinner. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go finance some furniture for my new house that I've not yet purchased. And, my friends asked me to co-sign for them, to go buy a car, or whatever the case may be. You can't do any of these things once you've gotten a pre-approval. You cannot change that number. You can't change your employment.
Yeah, don't put a trip on your credit card even, right? Like,
definitely not. So sometimes I see that as well, that buyers get that pre-approval and they think, okay, that we're good. But if you go out and buy a new car, well, now that changes everything, right?
Yeah.
And so I encourage them as well too.
And how long do you tell them to wait?
To buy a car, or to do these purchases?
To change any of their credit situation.
Oh, you moved in the house and I know nothing.
Exactly. You moved into the house. That's what I always say. Wait till after possession.
Yeah. You're working here full time. You're not planning to move. You're not, planning to go buy a Mercedes Benz, right? Just pay your mortgage. You committed now. You're signing a contract saying that you're going to make these payments bi-weekly, monthly, or however you set your frequency. And now you got to be committed.
Exactly. What happens behind the scenes right before funding that most buyers don't realize lenders do?
Oh, well, they verify everything, right?
Exactly. It plays into the don't take out credit, right? So,
I actually did have a scenario once where the employer then called and we were no longer working there, and it fell apart.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do check, right?
They do check, yeah.
money to buy this house, right? And at the end of the day, they want to ensure that you are who you say you are. You work what you work, and it's all aligned, right?
Yeah. I did have one client who her work actually went out of business while she was waiting for possession of her house. So she did have a job change, but she was in an industry where like they could take her last 2 years, and like, so she just changed job, like companies, but same job, right? Yeah, so they were able to save the deal. It's really hard when you've bought a new house and you have that like 12-month possession, right? Like, so hard to not change anything. But even on those new builds where you have a 12-month possession, you have to be really careful. You're literally calling your mortgage person every time you want to spend money.
You're not going to buy that new furniture yet. You're not,
You're not going on a $10,000 trip. No. Yeah, you're still even asking about the $2,000 trip.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, you don't want to be, unless you have cash, right? Like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so for someone who's always gone to their bank, what does a mortgage broker actually do differently?
Well, a mortgage broker, we have access to many, many lenders. A bank has one, one lender, one product type of thing. It's funny, in this industry, I've always kind of heard like, don't choose the bank, choose a mortgage broker, because obviously, I guess we want to promote ourselves. But I've come to discover in this industry, we all offer a little spice. And at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters whether it's a banker or whether it's a broker or a credit union. I think what matters the most is that you work with someone you trust.
Sure. Yes.
Right. But as a mortgage broker, we do have access to multiple lenders, often resulting in, more homes to put your mortgage in, right? We have a little bit more flexibility. At the end of the day, I kind of work 24/7. So if it's an evening, you've now worked all day, you have children in skating or football or soccer or whatever, you know what I mean? It's 8 o'clock at night. It's the only time that you have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
I'll answer the phone. You know what I mean? But we have flexible hours that can accommodate clients evenings and weekends as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for me, like as the realtor involved, I want them to work with someone they trust, but I also want them to work with someone who is accessible, right? Like both on, to their schedule, but also, or maybe even especially on offer night, right? Like if we know offers are coming in at 6 p.m. or 8, or, 8 o'clock is common, right? And we need to know if we can, how far can we push our approval limit, right? So
we're excited. You need to go over these numbers. I had one particular client, it was 13 offers before, there was the accepted offer. And so with each offer, it was that going over the documents, the ratios. Has anything changed? The property tax, you know what I mean? So getting everything right. And it was 13 times we did that for every offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we finally won that one, it was very sweet.
Exactly. Yeah. I love like my client being able to call and get that confirmation on that specific house for that, right? Like when they're talking about wanting to make changes. Yeah, it's great if they can manage to do that during the day, but what if we didn't know we were in multiple offers until 7 o'clock, right? Like, so now they have to call and see like how much do you think we can push this? How do you feel? And, having that conversation with the mortgage broker or the whoever they're dealing with. Some banks are open late, but yeah, knowing the accessibility of the person they're working with is, to me, very important. And then also knowing, if they are on holidays, who's taking their files over, right? Like, or are they working through their holiday?
If I went on holidays, I'm taking my stuff with me,
Yeah. Most mortgage brokers do, or they have someone doing their stuff for them.
Yeah. I think I would just take it with me and
I
just talk to people on like Christmas Day. So there's holiday components as well, You're in this situation, and when you're in it, it doesn't matter what day it is or what time it is. The anxiety, the panic is very real. And so you want to talk to somebody and you want to talk to them right now.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's a big piece where brokers come into play, is that we do have that flexibility. We offer strategies, with every mortgage, it's a strategy. It's how do we get you to where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
How do we get to that next stage of buying a rental whatever your story looks like, right?
Exactly.
Everyone. And so again, that's when no size, it's not a one size fits all, right? It's different in every situation, and it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We're not
Um,
perfect. We like to problem solve, right? And so quite
yeah,
often that's where again our lenders come into play with the alternate lending and different aspects of mortgages and what the clients need. So
right.
yeah.
Um, let's just look at my questions here. I think we've already answered most of them, even though I didn't ask them. We're just very knowledgeable. We're just sharing everything. Um, so, do you have any real life stories that you can share about having the solid pre-approval either save the deal or where one not having one caused an issue?
Well, I guess that 13 file one was going to be my story that I shared with you guys, right? That was a
Right.
very,
Oh yeah.
you can imagine how the buyer was feeling. All the
Right.
emotions, 13 offers. That was, you're
Yeah.
going high, low, you're feeling deflated, you're feeling
Right.
like you don't deserve this, it's never going to happen. What's wrong with us? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just about
13's not uncommon though.
the alignment, right? I think even if it took you 20 times, it's okay. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, I really do believe, and I've seen it happen over and over again. The buyers get excited, you fall in love with the homes, you fall in love with something, and you're always going to fall in love with something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when that right home comes to you and the
Yeah.
offer is accepted and it all works out, you will always say, I have no regrets. Like, I'm so glad that all those other houses that I loved didn't actually work out, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the time, you have a really hard time processing it, right? Like they really don't believe you. But then when it happens, it's the most beautiful, magical experience ever. Like there was tears shed, there was, people who
Yeah.
were dancing for joy. It was a really, really wonderful time for everyone, the realtor, myself, the client.
Yeah.
We were feeling very proud, and that this home actually went above and beyond their expectations,
Yeah.
it had all those little extras that, they wanted a hot tub, but guess what? It was there waiting for them, and it wasn't even broken,
It wasn't even broken.
right.
Yeah.
It does have a way of working out. It's definitely not an easy process. It's challenging at best, but it's a lot of fun. And I think that's why then choosing who you work with is half the battle, right? Because you're
Yeah.
going to be in constant communication with them. A lot of questions throughout the way,
Yeah.
and you want that person to be there and picking up the phone for you, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I feel like that's important. They're hard to get a hold of. In the beginning, they're going to be hard to get a hold of, 10 offers from now,
Right.
or maybe even harder.
It's true.
Yeah.
I
So,
like
yeah,
that.
exactly. If someone is thinking about buying a house later this year, how early should they realistically start getting their pre-approval conversation done?
Well, let's start now. There's no time like the present. It does take, some people are a little bit slower than others. So even to get that application filled out and the document collection to get to that pre-approval point sometimes takes longer than others. Others have it to you within 2 hours and they're
Right.
ready. They
And they
want
have it all. Yeah. Yeah.
um, so again, it's different for everybody. We all move at a different speed, and
Yeah, I like to tell clients to do it ahead of time also, because what if there is a surprise on their credit check or something like that, then we can deal with it now instead of when you actually want to buy a house.
correct. It's
Yeah.
always best to avoid any types of surprises. They're not fun. And again, people will tell you what they want to say, and then sometimes you pull up credit and whatnot, and it tells a different story, and you need to
Yeah.
get a picture and sometimes reassess and make a different plan to get where you want to be. Right?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. I
strategy.
actually had a fellow realtor tell me a story recently that her client had been getting their pre-approval, and that's when they found out that there was fraudulent activity. Yeah. So, like, getting it done soon, because that like ended up delaying when they could buy a house, because they had to deal with like getting all that off their credit, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that definitely takes time. That's nothing that, you're going to make a phone call and it's dealt with the next day.
No, it's not that quickly. No.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, like I always recommend call now. That way, if there is something, I think you might have froze. Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Okay. And what would you say to buyers who feel nervous about starting the pre-approval? That sometimes people are like have commitment issues.
Yeah, I would be one of them. Still single. No. Obviously, I know pre-approval can be daunting for some, right? Because again, you're buying a house, and I think buying a house and getting married definitely are the two biggest decisions that anyone is going to make in their lifetime, right? So again, starting that process, you're filling out an application, you're gathering some documents, you're having conversations. It doesn't need to be a stressful time. It's a fun time, right? We're exploring there. The clients usually, the reality versus expectation sometimes looks a little bit different. And that's okay too, right? It's bringing them back to where they need to be to move ahead to get where they want to be. And that's in their home, whatever that looks like.
Right, exactly. I look at a pre-approval similar to the buyer's consultation. It's a means to get information, right? Like there's no commitment required, right? Like it's helping you to figure out like what you can do, but you don't have to. Yeah.
Signing any commitments, right?
Yeah.
You're not.
No.
I mean, you're signing for consents and whatnot to pull your credit.
That's it.
Any commitments where you're paying X amount of dollars 5 years or
right.
You know what I mean? You're not paying us. Our services are free. There is the odd time that, depending again on the situation, where there might be a broker or lender fee, but again, those situations aren't every day, and it's not for everyone. So typically, we get paid from the lenders.
Right. What is what? Sorry, I cut you off there. Did you want to finish that thought?
I don't even remember what you were saying.
What's one final piece of advice you give someone before they start house hunting?
Definitely know your numbers. Take your time. Search yourself. What are your must-haves? What do you want this process to look like? And then make it happen. Go out and find a realtor that is going to work for you, and a mortgage broker that's going to work for you, and somebody that you feel confident that is actually working for you and not someone else, right? We work with clients, and so
perfect.
And word of mouth is joy to our ears, right? So I would say that is the biggest thing I can say to a first-time home buyer, someone looking out to buy, is do your homework. Be prepared, ask the questions, and find the people who work best for you.
Exactly. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Katrina, for coming on the show. And thanks so much for joining us on the next chapter. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like, and share. And I'd love to hear from the audience about any questions they have so that we can plan future podcasts around your questions. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.